Hey, what's happening, guys? Hope you are having a good night. If you are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment. For everyone who is subscribed and leaves a comment and likes the video, I appreciate it, and I want to say thank you. It's awesome. Every day since I started a little over a month ago, things have grown and gotten bigger each day. More activity on the channel, more comments, more likes, more views typically, depending on the video, which I fully understand. Most of my consumers are going to be knife based, which is fine. But I do have people who want to see hatchet type stuff, or they want to see other EDC related stuff, or they want to see preparedness type stuff. So, and I love all of that stuff, as I've said before. So I will be incorporating all of that stuff, like I've said. But for anyone new, that is going to be the sole idea behind my channel is knives, EDC, survival preparedness, which firearms will also flow in under the preparedness. So I will be bringing some firearm content to the channel once I figure out how I'm going to uh, do that content and what I'm going to talk about when I'm doing it. So there's a lot to uncover and figure out once things get rolling. Uh, Instead of focusing on one thing, I'm trying to multitask on different topics. That way it keeps things fresh for me, and then I'm covering all the bases that I want to cover anyway. So for anyone new or that didn't know, there will be other content besides knife content. But tonight we do have knife content. I wanted to talk about the Cold Steel Engage, and I have its brothers, the 8010 and the 8015 out here. And then I have Demco's 20.5 out here. Uh, Lynch Northwest clip and RGT micarta scales, Rips Garage Tech. I've had this for, well, I got it the week they were available to get. The public was able to get them. I got one because I was really interested in this lock. All the other locks that Demco has done, and this is pretty much a copy of the Shark Lock, no matter which way you want to spin it. It is different slightly, but that difference is enough that Cold Steel can do it. But uh, I think this is not Demco's lock. This is Cold Steel's lock. So Demco created these three style of locks here. There's been a lot of good and bad on this knife. I think it depends on what consumer you're talking to and what they do and what their purpose for the knife is. Somebody who wants flashy and action and the I don't know. I mean, this is fidgety, but not in the sense that, I mean, it depends on what kind of fidgeter you are. This allows you to have all kinds of different grips on it and being able to unlock it. You can be high on the knife, you can be low. You can thumb flick it. You can reverse flick it as long as you're up on the knife. You don't want to be too low. And then you can also front flip it with that tab here. You can kind of slow front flip it, or you can wrist it out. I didn't actually know that when I bought it. I didn't know it actually had that little tab, or that you could front flip it. I figured that out after I bought it. And then you can also use the lock to open and close it. Very similar to Demco's Shark Lock. Almost identical to the Atlas lock. The Shark Lock is placed a little higher on the knife. So, and everything else that I've seen is pretty much the same. It's basically this bar. There's a little bar there that slides into the tang, and to unlock it, you just pull it down, and that pulls the bar out of the tang of the knife. Same idea here. When you open it, that bar goes in very layman terms. That will click in, and then you just pull it down to unlock. Very, very similar. Now comparing it to its older Cold Steel brothers, the AD-15 and the AD-10, it is the smallest of the three. It weighs a touch more than the 15, and then quite a bit less than the 10. The engage is in the neighborhood of like 6.5, I believe. Yeah, like 6.5, 6.6. And I believe this one is right around 6.4, 6.5. So right in that 6.4, 6.5 area. And then the Beast AD-10 is around 7.1. So this is a big boy. But I mean, for as much as it weighs, I can carry this in my gym shorts, and it don't bother me one bit. Now, do I do that a lot? No, but the 7 ounces really don't bother me one bit. I'm not one of those, it's gotta have a 6-inch blade to weigh 6 ounces, or 3-inch blade to weigh 3 ounces, or be close. If I like the knife, I am going to get the knife, and I can find a use for it. So whether it's a heavy duty folder like this, or a lightweight folder like the Bug Out, or anything in between, I have no problem finding a use for any of those knives, or any of them styles of knives, or the weight of the knife. It doesn't bother me one bit, obviously. And I got some other big heavy knives, the Sheepdog XL and the full-size Proponent. I got the Gungnir. So big knives, I'm all for them. The weight doesn't bother me one bit. These don't get carried as much as I used to carry them. I still do, but this guy used to get carried a lot. This thing is phenomenal. Very strong, very comfortable. This is something you could EDC and take to work and it's gonna do everything you want it to do. It's so comfortable in hand. It fits beautifully. It has a nice choil so you can get up there, get right up on it for them detail cuts or something you got to get in behind. Being able to choke up on it makes it a lot easier to control if you got to do something very fine. All the grips are real nice. I mean, hell, you can even come back here and do some, like, if you had to de-limb, a small tree or something, you could do that. Or if in an emergency, this knife would do you wonders. It'd be good to have in, like, your truck or your bag or something. It wouldn't be a lightweight, bag. This would be fully intended for hard use, emergency style. It would be perfect for that because it could hold up to almost anything you could put this knife through. It would hold up. I have beat the hell out of this thing and it still shines beautifully. This one has the second most use on it out of the three. It is done extremely well. It's got S35 for the steel. This is made in Taiwan. It is a drop point with a nice little poon there to put your thumb in. Nice little choil there so you can get choked up. Very similar to the 8010. Great in all kinds of different grips. Same as the 8010. So if you like the 8010 but wanted something a little more fidgetable, this would be perfect for you, and still being able to keep the hard use factor intact. The same with the 15. If this is kind of fidgety in a sense. It's not everyone's type of fidgeting. It is cool though. This is very similar, except when it opens, the tang rides on that, and then it just pops in. And then in order to unlock it, instead of pulling down, you just pull back. And if you have your fingers placed right, you can kind of just pull it out, pinch it out, and it will fall right down, because that is the only thing holding it open, so it will fall, especially if you're not under a camera. This does have G10, the heavy duty G10 handles. Does have their heavy duty clip. It is better than this, and it is better than that. They actually made it so it's not so chunky and thick as like the 8010, and it's also deep carry, especially compared to these. But as I've said before, deep carry or not, that don't bother me. But this is similar to like a Spyderco clip almost. That allows you to pull the knife out of your pocket, leaving this little bit here. These came all razor sharp. This still has the factory edge on it, and it's still sharp as a whistle. There must be some, there's just a little bit, I could feel it when I'm cutting, but it's still sharp. Like if you really needed to do some fine work, this could still do it even after being put through all kinds of seatbelt strap and rope and twine and tape and cardboard, all kinds of various stuff, and still keep that awesome edge that it has. They do their S35 very well. That is what this is in. That is what this is in. And then obviously that is in S35. This is in Oz 10, which, well, that's a different story for another day. This could have been a lot better, especially for the price. We all know that. Anyone who's been in the knife world knows that anyway. But I do have some plans for these 3 knives. As far as content goes, we are going to do our own testing and see what these guys can take. I know I've seen various stuff on all 3 of these, but I would like to find out myself how they hold up to some very extreme testing, which I think they will all do fine. Not too extreme, but some rougher stuff than just cutting a box or some rope or whatever. As far as manipulating the lock, I have had, once I got it and had it messed with it for a day or two, it was just like this lock, just like this lock, and just like this lock. After having it for a day or two and using it, you get used to it. So it was odd at first when I first got it, but once you have it and mess with it, it's easy. You can access it pretty much anytime you make your cut. When you come off the handle, your hand is going to be anywhere that you can unlock this knife, especially with your pointer finger. You can use your thumb. So, whoop, hit the camera again. But you can use your thumb to unlock it. You can use your pointer finger or middle finger. So it is fidgety, especially if you want to see how many different like grips and whatnot. You know, you can thumb it open, put it down, reverse it, put it down, slow roll it, put it down. You can slow roll it with the thumb. So I mean, this is, Cold Steel did good. I see what they're on to here. I'd like to see them incorporate this into something more like this now coming up. I don't know what plans they have for the lock, but I would like to see some other lighter weight stuff with this lock on it. So we'll see what Cold Steel does. I think they're headed in the right direction, it seems like. They're not going very fast, but it does seem like, you know, they're keeping these models around. They are coming out with variations of these great knives. They got light models and all kinds of different stuff. They got budget $40 models that are just as hard use as these. They just don't quite have that edge retention that these might. You know, like they have some OS 10, and I think they have some 8 or 9 CR, and they got some various other steels they use in their budget models. But Cold Steel seems to do pretty well, even with their more budget end steels. It seems like you can trust them pretty good when it comes to having a hard use folder, even in the $40 range or the $150 range, whatever it might be. You're going to get a good knife with a good edge, and it's going to hold up. So that is the Cold Steel Engage. I'm going to be putting out a few more videos on these, like I said. Uh, I'm not sure if you can, I think you can buy these right now. I think they are still in stock. But for anyone who wanted a different look and maybe a comparison of the locks, that's kind of why I did this video. And to just get the engage on the channel. I do like this knife a lot. I like all these a lot. So I think it's the different locks as to why I like these. And you know, you can really use the shit out of these knives. So, you know, it makes it kind of worth the price tag. You might spend $150 on a knife that looks really good, but is it going to hold up and is it going to perform? And with these, I think that answer is yes. With some other knives, maybe not. But that is the Cold Steel Engage in cross comparison with the 10, 15, and the 20.5. I hope you guys have a good night. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any of these. Let me know if you have the Engage and what you think. I have quite a bit more coming up tonight and tomorrow morning. So make sure your bell notification is lit up. That way you can get all the notifications. With all that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Be safe. Have a good night.